easy back and forth dabs.
Drop it.
Sweating.
Howdy everyone, it's me Zombie and welcome back to my Happy Cosplay channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my undersuit for my Freeman cosplay from Half-Life 2. An undersuit has to be a lot of things. It has to be comfortable, it has to be functional, it has to look cool, and it has to keep your armor in place. And maybe most importantly, it has to be easy to take off when you need to use the restroom. I've made undersuits in the past that did not meet this qualification, and I can't tell you how much it sucks to take off every little piece of armor and then to take off the top part of your undersuit that is attached to your pants just to take a tinkle. It sucks. Learn from my mistakes. So in this tutorial, I will be making a two-part undersuit, the top and the bottom. I hope that this tutorial helps you make a cool undersuit or costume of your own. So without further ado, let's head over to the crafting table. I picked up this two-way stretch fabric from Joann's. I chose this hexagon scuba fabric from Yaya Han's line because the fabric looks so cool! It's all like future-y. I mean, look at it. Also, it'll work great with my costumes design. This is a two-way stretch fabric, which means, you guessed it, it only stretches in two directions, as opposed to a four-way stretch fabric that stretches in both directions. This means I have to be conscious of where I lay and cut my patterns on the fabric, so it'll stretch how and where I need it to. When working with a stretch fabric like this, I make sure the stretchy part is laying horizontally so it can stretch around my body easier when I'm wearing the finished suit. First, I'm going to make the pants. I'm folding the fabric so that the correct pattern side of the fabric is folded in on each other. Next, I'm taking a pair of my own pants and laying them on the fabric. Now I can use a marker and trace around them. I like drawing an extra inch or so around my garment. This gives me some extra wiggle room and also gives me room for seam allowance when I'm sewing everything up. Since this fabric isn't extremely stretchy, I'm giving myself some extra room in the waist to install some elastic. Using these shears, now I can cut out the pants. And using these wonder clips, I can clip up the seams. Now I'm running the seams through my sewing machine. I'm sewing the whole undersuit using a straight stretch stitch. I'm also going over the crotch, ankle, and waist seams twice to help them be a bit stronger. Here's what the pants look like after I've hemmed the ankles and turned the material right side out. I'm choosing to install an elastic waistband on these. I love elastic waistbands on undersuits because 1, it's comfortable and you can get out of it easily, and 2, an elastic waistband never judges you when you eat too many cheeseburgers at a con. To make the waistband, I'm using this thick elastic and measuring it around my waist where I want my pants to sit. Then I can cut it to size and sew it together using a stretch stitch on my sewing machine. I'm fitting the elastic inside the waistband of my pants and folding a part of the fabric down over the elastic. Then I can clip it into place. Once the elastic is exactly where I need it, I can sew it into the pants. I like putting a stitch near the top of the elastic and around the bottom so it stays in place. Now I can work on the shirt. I'm using this sweatshirt as a pattern. I'm giving myself some extra room around the edges like I did with the pants, and I also mark where the sleeves need to be attached. Speaking of sleeves, I'm tracing and cutting them out as well. Like how my sweatshirt is made, I'm cutting a scoop in the front that's a bit deeper than the one in the back. For this design, I'm planning on just pulling the whole shirt over my head to take it on and off, but you could add a zipper if you wanted to as well. That part is totally up to you. As you can see, I'm going to hold off on sewing up the sides and attaching the sleeves until I finish this next part. According to my reference photos, the top has these interesting seams on the front and on the back. To make these, I drew where I wanted the seams to be on the inside of my shirt. I folded the front panel in half to help keep things symmetrical and cut the first panel away from the shirt. I clipped the panel back onto the shirt, exactly where I just cut it from, and use my sewing machine to sew it back on. I repeated this process with the second panel on the front of the shirt and the panels on the back of the shirt as well. Now that the seams on the shirt are done, I can sew up the sides. I sewed up the sides of the sleeves as well, used clips to pin them to the shirt, and attach them using my sewing machine. Here's what the shirt looks like so far. I already did a test fit, and luckily it's fitting how it should be. I'm using an iron on a medium heat over the seams, on the front and on the back to make everything look more neat and crisp. And as you can see, ironing these seams made a big difference. Now onto weathering. I'm using my airbrush and applying color to the seams. I'm also looking at my reference photos and applying paint in the areas where I see color. I'm using a mixture of Vallejo paints in camel and white. It makes the fabric look a bit bleached and dusty. Not to mention, you can see the contrast of the hexagonal pattern under the paint, which ended up being a happy accident. While my shirt dried, I gave the pants the same airbrush treatment. And while I paint this, I'd like to thank my patrons. Your support makes videos and costume projects like this possible. When you join me on Patreon, you get access to all my photos and projects early, get to see exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, and access to my Discord community. And right now, you get an early sneak peek of my tutorial book in progress as well. So thank you for your support. Now that everything's dry, I can sew on some industrial velcro to the areas where I need to attach my armor. In my case, I attached pieces to the belt line and to the hips to keep my belt and thigh armor on comfortably. I prefer attaching the softer loop part to the velcro of the undersuit. Doing this will prevent your velcro from catching on the fabric when it's in storage and scuffing up your hard work. And now that the undersuit is all done, here's what it looks like under all the armor. And as you can probably tell, I used some upholstery foam to pad the shoulders. I made the decision to do this when I was doing a test fit of the finished armor. I just thought it helped everything look more proportional, but that part is totally up to you. By the way, this undersuit is so comfortable, and I can confirm it's really easy to take off when you need a break from fighting aliens. This week's Makers of the Week include Maximus GT, who made this amazing set of Rathalos armor from Monster Hunter. I love the design, I love how you made it, the colors, the prop, everything. You look freaking legit. Thank you so much for showing me your work. Danielle Roars made this Ursula costume. She made like the little tentacles and the puppets and everything. It looks so cool. I love it. Finally, we have Rogue Leah, who made a diorama. This is so neat, and also the first diorama I've seen submitted. By the way, thank you guys so much for showing me what you're making. If you're watching this right now and you're working on something or have completed something that you want to show me, whether it's cosplay or otherwise, I would love to see it. You can show me on Twitter or Instagram. They are both the same. Thank you in advance for showing me your work, because seeing what you create makes my day. If you liked the video, consider hitting that subscribe button, because I would love to see you back. Thanks again, and I'll see y'all again next time. Bye!